Nepal, high in the Himalayas, is one of the poorest countries in the world. The mountains that define this landscape are proving to be a natural barrier to development, preventing electricity from reaching many of the people who live here, and literally keeping them in the dark. It was while trekking as a tourist in 1997 that Scots-Canadian Dr. Dave Irvine-Halliday, an electrical engineer, began thinking about how he could help people here get clean, affordable lighting.
The primary source of light, apart from just the fire in a typical rural Nepali home, is a kerosene wick lamp. It doesn't give very much light, it's very smoky, it's unhealthy, it's very dangerous in fact. Many of them are just simple bottles, and if they do get knocked over, they basically become a Molotov cocktail. The kerosene also has to be got to the village, which means the villager has to travel someplace to get it. And kerosene can take anything from 10 to 30% of the annual income of some of these poor rural villagers. The impact of not having enough light is immense. In many parts of Nepal, the children are working in the fields during the day. If there is a study time, it's usually in the evening. And if there's no light in the home, there's no way they can study. I think home lighting is one of the 3 or 4 primary necessities of life, along with, for example, clean water, because so much can be achieved if you have adequate lighting at the home.
As an electrical engineer, he knew that the cost of extending mains electricity into the mountains would be prohibitive. But a solution might lie in lighting that could run off small amounts of electricity generated in each village. Dave thought Nepal could leapfrog traditional lighting, which is costly and wasteful in energy, and opt for an emerging technology, so advanced that it hadn't even been adopted properly in the West: solid-state lighting.
I just thought there had to be some way of using solid-state light-emitting diode-type lighting, which only uses a few watts, to provide a useful level of light.
Traditional incandescent light bulbs have changed little in over 100 years. When electricity is passed through a bulb, 90% is wasted as heat rather than light. Light-emitting diodes produce virtually no heat, making them many times more efficient and far longer lasting. But until recently, LEDs could only produce small amounts of colored light, and so were only used as power indicators on everything from cassette players to computers. But once back in Canada, Dave heard about a Japanese company that had made a breakthrough and invented a new, powerful white LED that might be suitable for home lighting. So he sent off for some samples and began to experiment.
I'd have to say that probably one of the most meaningful experiences in my life was the day that we actually switched on our first white LED. I remember, like it were yesterday, saying to my technician, "Good God, a child could read with the light of a single diode."
Armed with the first generation of white LEDs, Dave designed a simple lamp that could run off a portable battery and use less than 1 watt of power. Dave also had to find an efficient way to charge the batteries that was environmentally friendly. The pedal generators were extremely effective. But far greater impact came from the clean, safe, smoke-free lighting that the villagers could enjoy for the first time.
I think the feeling I had when we first saw the lamp switched on was something akin to when my children were born.
Encouraged by his success, Dave set up the Light Up the World project to spread his high-tech lamps throughout Nepal and beyond. He visits Nepal every year, and today he's on his way to Pico Power Nepal, a company he set up to manufacture the LED lamps. The company is now owned and run as an independent commercial business by a Nepalese family, and is based on the ground floor of the family house.
Ah, Mooney! Great to see you, old son. You're looking great. Namaste, namaste.
For owner Muni Raj, commercial business sense is tempered by an altruistic desire to help Nepal's poor.
I mean, making profit, in my sense, is just to sustain, just sustain the business, and just to keep the thing, keep the machinery, keep the people working, but not making big building, not buying cars, not that sort of thing. I never wish that, because what I have is enough for me. I want to keep the benefit for the people.
Perching on a gradual slope high above the valley floor, Tulo Pokhara is a typical Nepali village. Located in such mountainous terrain, Tulo Pokhara may never get mains electricity, which is why Dave chose the village to test out his LED lamps. This is a close-knit farming community, where every member of the family helps with ploughing and sowing in the paddy fields. Once darkness falls, members of each family gather for the evening meal. They're used to sitting in smoke-filled rooms with little or no light, often cooking and eating by the light of the fire. But since the arrival of the LED lamps, children can now spend an hour studying every night, and families enjoy clean, affordable light in their homes.
We used to really struggle with this. We'd send our children off to our school to study. When they came back from school, they would have to do their homework by the light of the kerosene lamps. The thick black smoke from the kerosene would go into their noses and ears. That smoke was very unhealthy, and it used to make the children ill. Now we have this electric light that we can turn on for them to do their homework in the evening. The electric light is as valuable as gold for us. That's what we all feel.
When the battery is charged, we use the electric lamp for light in the house. Otherwise, we have to bring kerosene here from Dapcha and use the kerosene lamp. We don't have to face nearly so many problems with the electric light. The money we normally use to buy kerosene, we can now use to buy food and other items. Having this light means a lot to me. It hasn't just lit up my home, it has also lit up my heart.
Light Up the World has expanded, and Dave now runs projects in India and Sri Lanka. His aim is to bring light to 1 million people by 2004. His determination to light up the world's poor has shown how third world countries can use the very latest technology to help them develop. Dave's hope is that the clean, safe and environmentally friendly LED lamps will help solve the problems of lighting and literacy across the globe.